So welcome everyone. Let's get started. We are having two presentations for today. Welcome to our CodeX Group meeting, and then we'll hear from Horace King, who's the co-founder and CEO of Lextar, which is a governance-grade legal reasoning platform for regulated environments. So
I feel deeply honored to be invited to make a presentation today. So, because I know all of you are experts in AI and the relationship between AI and the law. So today I'd like to talk something about responsible. Maybe I should share my presentation is not just a promotional pitch. So I would like to talk about my perspective as a businessman in running this business and about responsible AI and the structured reasoning in regulated decision making. I know Dr. Vogel and CodeX, you are the forerunners in responsible AI research. I am Canadian, so I live in Canada. And first, in Canada, there is only one legal document regarding that is responsible AI. That is the Directive on automated decision making. In this one, there are several rules regarding algorithmic impact assessment, transparency and explanation, human in the loop, quality and bias testing, auditability. While in the US, there is not just one unified legal document regarding the responsible AI. There are three. One is the executive order in 2020, and then the executive order in 2025, and then the Office of Budget Memorandum M2521 and M2522. I started this business. This business was incorporated with pretty new. It was incorporated on the first day of this year, but I started designing this product as early as 2024. So I always kept in mind that I need to do something to see how AI could be used to facilitate or to help lawyers, judges, something like that. Because it's not my first startup business. In the year 2020, I built a database of Chinese law in English. That database is still working on the market. So for this time, I will talk back later about why I designed this product. But just to summarize the responsible AI requirements in government systems, it seems to me that, generally speaking, they should at least include like algorithmic impact assessment, transparency, explainability, human in the loop decision making, and bias testing and auditability. So I always kept those requirements in my mind when I designed the product. So almost everybody knows that it could be risky for the regulated industry, for lawyers, for judges, because some lawyers have been sanctioned because of using hallucinated authorities, that is fake cases. And another thing is because of the black box, that is lack of traceable reasoning, jurisdictional confusion sometimes. AI could not sometimes maybe confused with like the jurisdiction, or maybe use outdated sources. more and more lawyers are using AI to facilitate the work, but also they face great risk potential, and because they use the automated output of AI, so there is a lack of accountability. This is an issue for lawyers or judges in using AI, and almost most institutions are making the policies or guidelines regarding the use adoption of AI. And for the absence, and they also they do not have the governance controls. So for me, why I designed Lextar AI, I kept those things in my mind. The first is that it is designed not to compete. It's designed to complement. In our legal practice, everybody knows during the past decades, technology has been used to facilitate legal practice, largely on legal research, that is retrieval of laws, acts, laws, regulations, policies, cases. LexisNexis and Westlaw, they have made great contribution to that, and that is really, really beautiful, very helpful. So when I designed this product, I just wanted to know if I can find something new that can help people. It seems to me that in the legal practice, and few people have touched the legal drafting and the legal reasoning, and the drafting and reasoning be made transparent and auditable. So this is the first thing I kept in mind in designing the product, is to complement, that is to focus on the reasoning and the drafting drafting links in the chain. And then it is used to assist human judgment. It is not to displace any human. So it is not say, okay, my AI is able to substitute, take over the work of the lawyer. The accountability is human. It is only supposed to be an assistant to human, to lawyers, to judges, and then to support legal analysis through structured reasoning. What is structured reasoning? I will come back to this issue later. And then preserve human decision-making authority and accountability, and make legal work defensible. How to make it defensible? That is, we keep the reasoning trace transparent. You can see the reasoning trace, and you can see how AI reasoned and how it verified against the rules, against the laws. And then
Or are you going to show us an example? Can you show?
Yeah, I will show you. I will show you.
Yeah, I think that would help us understand
yes.
exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, and then I will prioritize the structured reasoning over speed. So it may take like several minutes, like 5, 7, or 10 minutes, depending on the complexity of the case. So yeah, maybe I can show you about the example.
Do you have the working demo? Or?
It is already here. The first is we can choose the jurisdiction. Right now, we have two products. Largely, one is the first vertical, or the legal corporate. The legal corporate is immigration law. So I choose U.S. law, and this is the website, and it is already launched. And this is the first intake page. We can, like for example, we can use a hypothetical case. I personally I have tested with many hypothetical cases, we can input here up to 5,000 words in this box. Or we can browse and upload PDF or Word files, and then for AI to process. And the AI, Lextar AI, has role awareness. It can be, you can choose the role of AI as a neutral legal analyst or as counsel representing applicant, or as counsel representing respondent. There is another role that is for adjudicator, that is like arbitrators, judges, tribunal members, but that role is not available on the website because it may cause confusion to people who use this product AI tool. So
and
we
how
just
does legal reasoning work? You said you have structured legal reasoning. What's going to happen next here? So you upload the document.
Let me see. I will show you the here, because it will take several minutes. Then I will go back to the what is structured reasoning. So what is structured reasoning? In my view, Lextar AI, in Lextar AI, structured reasoning means the system does not jump directly to an answer. Instead, it breaks the legal analysis into explicit steps in the litigation case. The first is it sorts and structures case materials. It can help to sort out the evidence or other materials that litigation lawyer that use for he has accepted from his client. And then AI will organize legal claims and issues and then identify the missing legal elements or claims. And then it will test each required legal element, evaluate supporting evidence, detecting gaps, inconsistencies, or contradictions, and flag those unsupported assertions or claims. And then it will produce an output. And in the output, it will recommend verification steps and like corrective actions. That is, it will make suggestions what to do, like immediately or urgent or like deferred to do.
You're saying your system is doing all of this already?
Yes, I will show you. Then come back to let's come back to okay. It is still you can see it is still working, and you can see step 28. So there may be maybe up to like 25 up to 35, 40 steps, depending on the complexity of the case. And then it shows it is processing, not completed yet. After processing, when it is complete, it will show here processing complete or analysis complete. And then this button will turn into another button that is expand all. When you click this button, expand all, you can see all the steps, all the verifications of AI. Because we may have to wait for a few minutes, then I will come back. That is from generic AI to governance grade legal AI. I see I have already used 1 minute more than the design. So I will not say, I will move to the next one. This is about the Lextar AI's implementing measures. How we implement, we choose Lextar AI's reasoning pipeline. That is, first, we design AI first to plan, then to retrieve, to verify, to ground, and then synthesis. And we can substantiate into like the 7 steps. And the premise of Lextar AI is very simple. That is for we produce defensible work product, reduce the risk of hallucination, and a higher consistency, and human authority preserved. Right now, there are two different approaches to AI in dispute resolution or in regulated decision making. One is the output simulation, outcomes simulation. The other approach is structural legal reasoning. That is the approach we adopt. So you can see the difference. Both approaches have their own strength and have their own limitations. So I'm not saying which one is better or which one is worse. So let's come back to, okay, it shows the analysis complete. And this button has turned into expand all. And the different color is used to show the confidence of AI's analysis. And 50% is a 50% confidence. Unverified claims it will show in here. And it will make recommended actions like immediate action, what to do, and what is urgent, one, two, and what is stand, what should be deferred, and what is the conclusion and the citations. And here, if we click expand all, then we can see how AI reasoned every step, every verification, and all the sources. So it is pretty long, and that is why it took AI maybe up to 10 minutes to complete.
How is that? How does it compare to, say, like the reasoning model in ChatGPT, for example?
Okay.
It breaks out the steps there and explains, like, now doing this, now doing that. Is that the same, but just in a legal context, or do you do something to, train it
Okay.
more? Or
Let me explain.
what's going on here?
Yeah, yes. Generally speaking, when people talk about AI, they just refer to AI as general AI, that is like a chatbot. But Lextar AI is not a chatbot. For general AI, it is not jurisdiction aware, and it could think widely. So that is why it may hallucinate. But for Lextar AI, we design it to think or to reason within a boundary. That is, first, you have to choose a jurisdiction. Right now, we just have only Canada and the US. So when, for example, I have just chosen US, but if I use a case that is Canadian law would apply, then it will say, sorry, I cannot do it. This is not a precise word AI says, but the meaning is, sorry, I cannot do it because it's not Canadian. It applies to Canadian law, not the US.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and then yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, I have spent too much time on it. So yeah, I'm open to questions.
Yeah, and Benjamin, I think.
So like, I guess I was thinking it was like a multi-agent reasoning system where it's using in-context learning with the retrieved corpus and some prompt. Is that what I'm guessing correctly?
Hold on. Let me stop the sharing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me stop the sharing and then. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Sorry. Can you repeat?
Oh, so my intuition was that it's a multi-agent reasoning system with RAG and some in-context learning. And I myself have tried this to some degree. And the issues that I've had, and also with the jurisdiction being a very good reason, I've gotten false positives on my retrieval. So I sometimes retrieve too much, and then I get things when I retrieve that are extraneous, that steer my model into the wrong area, which is why I didn't continue along this line previously, and why I'm going full neurosymbolic at this point. But is it correct that to assume that it's a multi-agent reasoning system with RAG? And then
Yeah, we use RAG pipelines to train AI, but our AI, Lextar AI, is different in that we train, for example, the AI, Lextar AI, is aware of the jurisdiction, not only jurisdiction, but the hierarchy in the legal system, like which law overrides the other law. And so it will search first the constitutional law, and then the law, the regulations, the policies or manuals, directives. It understands the different levels of force, of effect. And it will also understand the effectiveness of the cases. And we just, because we use our own database, we curate the legal corpora with our own tags. And so, because we are not trying to build a comprehensive database, we build a database that enables AI to reason. That is what we do. So we are not trying to compete like LexisNexis, Westlaw, or we are not doing that. We just build our database, the required statutes, the required cases to enable AI to reason enough. If any law or any case is not found in our database, it will just alert the lawyer or the judge. And then the right pane on the website, on the right pane, it is also a live interaction pane for the user to live interact with AI. You can ask questions about the output or any question regarding the case, and the AI will respond, and you can refine the output, or you can make amendments to the case.
Well, I guess I want to sort of clarify in some ways. So I've found it necessary personally that I would have to generate synthetic data, for instance, this knowledge graph ontology, to structure the retrieval process. And I think what you're saying is that you are also creating some sort of synthetic data about precedent, in which precedent overrides other old case law, for example, so you don't misretrieve old case law. And I don't know, you also said that you weren't trying to completely duplicate LexisNexis, but I sort of found, I mean, I'm not saying what you should do, because I'm not making any money, I'm burning money, but I found it sort of necessary from my own perspective to sort of re-engineer LexisNexis and shepherdizing case law and ontologies from first principles myself.
Oh yeah. LexisNexis, they're doing a very good job. I had a partnership with Lexis 25 years ago when I built the Chinese law database, and they licensed our content and paid us millions of dollars. But this time for the AI, for Lextar AI, we do not depend on Lextar, because that is a huge database. So we do not allow that. That could be a different thing for us. For example, if we use Lexis or Westlaw's databases, but we at the first stage, because we want AI does not go beyond the boundary, the sphere.
Yeah. So maybe, we're running out of time, but maybe last two questions from Abid. Maybe all the three, but he's also asking you what's the underlying LLM
Yeah,
you're
it looks
using?
like there were many questions here.
Yeah,
I haven't had the time
yeah.
to read the questions. Maybe we can communicate after this meeting.
Yeah, but we have 3 more minutes. So so what are the what's the underlying LLM? What kind of training data was utilized? And what does governance grade actually mean? Do you have like,
Okay.
like SOC 2
Governance.
compliance or, or
Yeah, okay. Governance grade, it means that it meets satisfies the requirements of the responsible AI as decided by the government, that the government departments, when they adopt AI, you have to meet the requirements as I have talked about in the slides. That is like explainability, transparent, and accountability, human in the loop.
got it. Okay.
Yeah,
And
so
what?
that the judge or a lawyer, they can defend themselves when they use the product or the output of AI. They say, okay, we have AI have shown, we have the trace of how AI reasoned, how AI verified against the law and the cases.
And what do you use as your training data?
And the training data right now comes from the public domain, but we curate with our own tags.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
we download from the official websites of the government.
can you say what LLM model you're using?
LLM model right now we use the enterprise grade, that is Copilot, because most enterprise, but it seems to me that ChatGPT could work better for legal environments, but because Copilot, so we have thought of using both.
Okay, got it. And Horace, can you please put your contact information if people wanted to reach out with more questions? Can you
Okay,
just put chat?
in the chat box. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much. Well,
Oh,
thank you.
okay.
So
Thank you very much. I
we're
will
at
put.
time. Thank you also, Horace. Thank you for sharing your venture with us.